Okay, this is my first video. I want to talk about how I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, kind of what I think it feels like, and how I'm dealing with it now. So I was diagnosed in late August, following a pretty bad breakdown. I had given birth to my third child in June, and I didn't really leave my bedroom a lot afterwards. I was crying a lot. I was kind of just secluding myself. Of course, my OBGYN, who was my only doctor at the time, thought that it was postpartum, so he prescribed me Xanax for my anxiety, which did work but made me really foggy, and I don't really like that feeling, so I rarely took it. Also, he gave me a depression medication, which I can't remember the name of right now off the top of my head, but it never worked. It was about 4 weeks in, and I was still doing the same things. I was still not getting up. I was still doing the bare minimum, and if anything, it kind of made everything worse. It made me feel more neurotic because I felt like this stuff works for everyone else, and it was not working for me. I was convinced that it was postpartum depression, although I've had a history of depression for a long time. What I thought was depression at the time. Now I know that I've actually been bipolar for quite a few years, but I really had never heard of bipolar disorder, and I really didn't know what it was at that point. The day that I had my breakdown, I was supposed to be at school. I was getting ready for school. My boyfriend and I were arguing. I was trying to get the kids ready for daycare, and I couldn't pull it all together. I couldn't put it in a way that was making sense. And I did this every day. This is things that I do every day. I get the kids ready, and that day was just too much. It was too much at that point. So what happened? My boyfriend ended up taking the kids to daycare. That much I remember. After he left, I know that I managed to make out a very shoddy email to my teacher to tell him that I wasn't going to be there. And then I don't really remember what happened after that. I know that I drove myself to the hospital. I was so manic at that point that I really had no thought process as to what was going on. I just was doing. When I got there, my legs were burned. Not badly, just like skin, like topical burn. It was a water burn. I semi-remember getting in the bathtub. I was there for quite a while at the hospital. I was seen by 2 psychologists, and one of them had mentioned bipolar at that point. They kind of asked me if I had had any history of trying to commit suicide, which is what they were calling it, and they had said that when I got there, I told them that I was going to kill myself. I don't remember saying that, but I mean, why would they lie? At the point when I'd finally come down enough to see the psychiatrist or the psychologist or whatever they were, I was pretty calm, and I was lucid again. So the things they were asking me about were mostly about like previous times, things that I'd done before, which I had tried to kill myself a few times beforehand, years before, but I since then have linked it to after I gave birth to my second child was the first time I had attempted to commit suicide. It was a hard time. It evened out after a while though, and I could control it again, or at least white knuckle it to where it was able to be semi-controlled. They then gave me a referral to go to like a counselor, and I ended up going to see Lynn, who's my counselor. She's amazing, and she's probably besides my children, one of the best things that's ever happened to me. So she's great. She then, when I went to go see her for the first time, which I did wait like another month because I was scared. I was not ready to hear what she had to say. I really wasn't. I'll talk about how I got ready or what pushed me to finally go see her in another video. But it was, I finally decided to. I went, and the first day she saw me, she said, I'm going to go ahead and say that you're bipolar. I still want you to see Rachel, which is the psychiatrist that I see. I only see her every once in a while, basically, for prescriptions and just a little check-in. I see Lynn once a week. But she said, I still want you to see Rachel, but I'm going to go and say that you're bipolar. And I said, I don't really know a lot about bipolars. I don't know what it was. I didn't know how it affected people. I didn't know the terminology, used with it. I was totally lost. So she said, well, she gave me a chapter from a book that basically said what it was, said what the symptoms were, and she said, highlight everything that sounds like you. Now, this is a chapter of a book. I'm talking like 10, 12 pages. And the entire pages, every page was highlighted. It was an opening. It was eye-opening. It was amazing. I didn't want to over-identify with what they had told me, although it was hard not to at that point, because it was like everything from the mood swings, and I have rapid cycling, so the rapid cycling from day to day and up and down and sideways. I don't know. It was, everything made sense. So here I was with this diagnosis, and first Rachel prescribed me Lamictal. I took Lamictal for 2 weeks and 4 days, and I woke up in the morning on the fourth day of the third week, and I had a rash on my thighs. Of course, that's something that they wanted me to look out for, so I called Lynn right away. Unfortunately, that day was a Sunday, so Monday comes around, which was a holiday, and she still hadn't called me back, so I decided to go to an urgent care. I went to the urgent care. They said that it wasn't Stevens-Johnson syndrome, which was the scary part of the rash. It wasn't that. It was just that I was allergic to it and to stop taking it. So I went and saw Lynn and Rachel. They said the same thing. Then she prescribed me Topamax, which I loved. Topamax, it took about 2 weeks to start working. After the 2-week period, I started to realize that I wasn't as manic during the day. I was having an easier time going to sleep. Also, my appetite was, I think, the most normal it's been in a really long time. I wasn't having outbursts every day. I still was, just not daily. And when I did, they weren't as bad. So that was something that was really important to me, was the outburst. I'm severely angry all the time. It doesn't take a lot to set me off. But I'll talk more about that in another video too. Anyway, so the Topamax was working great. She had given me something for anxiety. It was not Xanax anymore. It was something else. It didn't make me as foggy. However, I did have to take it like a half an hour before it would start working. So it was kind of tricky because sometimes I just get panic attacks like right off, just out of nowhere, it seems like. And then, but other times, like if I knew I was going to a grocery store, I would take it beforehand, because grocery stores are definitely something that sets me off. I have panic attacks almost every time I go to the grocery store, especially if I go with the kids alone. I was taking it before I went to anywhere, like my boyfriend's family's house or my family's house or anything like that, because anywhere I'm around a lot of people, it's hard to deal with. So then after I took the Topamax, I want to say for about 3 months, and then I found out that my boyfriend and I are expecting our 4th child. So we are expecting the baby now. I had to stop taking the Topamax because it does have bad side effects on, well, what the paper said was that it has bad side effects on male children, and I'm not going to harm my child in any way. I think that most of the time my children are the only reason why I'm still here. So through all of this, now I'm unmedicated completely. It's back to square one. I'm having outbursts a lot. I'm still depressed oftentimes during the day. Sometimes it lasts a couple of days, but I'm having outbursts a lot. It's hard to deal with, but I know now it's not as bad because I know what's going on. I'm not completely blindsided by this. I know what is going to happen, that I know it's going to be over. I know that I'm not going to be like this forever. The rage isn't going to last all day. It isn't even going to last an hour. My biggest problem is damage control, because after I freak out at somebody, directed at somebody or whatever, I have a lot of apologizing to do. I have to explain to new people why I reacted that way, and I always feel like I'm sort of leaning on this problem that I have, this bipolar disorder, this anxiety, and I also have mild paranoia, which ties into a lot of my rage, because I'm constantly second guessing everybody, second guessing myself. It's crazy. It's crazy. But that's kind of it in a nutshell. I will be going back on Topamax as soon as I have my baby, or something that makes it a little bit easier. I really haven't discussed with Rachel a lot about my like what I can take while I'm pregnant, and I think that's because I'm just scared to take anything while I'm pregnant. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. If you are bipolar yourself, have an anxiety disorder or any sort of disorder, I'd love to hear from you. I will post my Tumblr, I'll post my Twitter. I'm pretty active on them, so if you message me on there, I will be there for you. If even if you can't make a promise that you'll be there for me. So that's basically what I wanted to say in this video. I will post a video about what made me decide to finally get help. I'll post a video about my kids. I'll post a video about all those different things. I have them all written down. I'm just, when I get to it, because my life is pretty busy. So I would appreciate people being understanding and practicing tolerance with me. Like I said, my videos are not going to be perfect, and I may have a lifestyle that is not like yours, or you don't understand. I don't really need hateful words, hurtful things said to me, but this is the internet, and I know that it'll be there. So just be ready, because I'm, like I said, angry all the time, very mean. I can be. Anyway, I'd rather have the love than the hate. So anyway, talk to you guys soon. Bye.